Blog Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to RTWT Real Talk with Tranell. I am your host, Tranell Stewart, and I am grateful that you decided to tune in tonight for this episode where we will shine some light on the next big violence. Real Talk with Tranell airs right here on Blog Talk Radio Live on Unity Gospel Radio Tuesday and Thursdays at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In addition, on-demand episodes are aired on Pasta Power XXI Christian Media Network, putting us in the ears of millions of listeners across the globe. So you need to keep up with us, find out what we're doing, find out what I'm doing. Look me up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I would love to connect with you. All the music played here on our station is independent gospel music. If you're looking to have your music put in rotation on the station, artists are asked to send their music to YouFirstMediaNetwork@gmail.com. That is the letter U, number 1, STMediaNetwork@gmail.com. I'm going to start my .com, but I think that's a little loud. But I really appreciate you guys joining in today. Let me put that down. Hopefully y'all can still hear that. All right. This month is October, and it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we got a powerful show lined up for you tonight with guests that are survivors and advocates actively working to end domestic violence in our communities and across the globe. I, too, am an advocate against domestic violence, where I work more on the prevention side with youth-involved cases. So I know and I have witnessed how widespread this issue is. It's important that we are educated about it. But before we can really put an end to it, we have to be educated and informed. Our guest joining us will be Ms. Louise Osborne, a licensed mental health counselor, certified trauma specialist and advocate. Ms. Antonia Ferguson, a survivor with a powerful testimony. Lonnie Gordon, an internationally known singer-songwriter who is also a survivor with a powerful testimony. Angie Pye, the CEO of Domestic Abuse Council in Daytona Beach, Florida. Last but not least, I'm going to introduce and bring on my guest host of the evening, Miss Serena Green Murray, in just a minute here. Let me unmute her. Now, many of us know her as Bree. She's an independent gospel recording artist who also a certified DV advocate, speaker, and trainer. She's adamant about spreading the DV awareness, currently doing this by wearing the color purple, which represents DV awareness, at all of her events here in the month of October. If you have not checked her out yet, make sure you do so on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Find out about the different things that she has going on. I'm going to stop right there because I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about her background and her experience as an advocate, because no one can tell that story better than she can. So let's welcome Reed to the show, y'all.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Good. Okay. Well, I'm glad to be here. I'm grateful. I'm actually just making it into where we're at for you to hear, and it's just amazing. I just left a domestic violence awareness event right here in Putnam County, Florida, and it was just being with all of our community partners, the officers and the first responders and the health department they're the sexual assault, the certified sexual assault center here in Putnam County, the Lee Conley House. I was able to see some of my sisters, the advocates that are with the Lee Conley House. So it was an awesome event, but I'm glad to be here. I am a singer. I am a songwriter. I'm a mother. I'm also an advocate. And in advocacy, yes, this month I'm wearing the color purple, not the movie, but I'm wearing the color purple to bring awareness. So that when people see that, hey, why you got on purple lipstick? Why you got on a purple shirt? That it gives an outlet to be able to talk about domestic violence and to not be silent about it. There may be people that, I may see that in the audience that had that not ever been brought up, they may not have had that opportunity to say, I'm going through it. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be on tonight and what this show is actually going to bring forth.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited too. I know you probably gonna run this thing because that's what she did. But I'm a kind of help in the background, kind of run it there. So I'm excited about it too. I'm excited about the guests we got coming on today. We're before we get into it, because we got a lot of guests today, so we're just gonna keep it moving. And before we get into the first guest, we're gonna go ahead and take a music break. One of yours, called Waterside. We'll be right back after this.
Short time to figure out what life is all about. You've been running around searching endlessly, wasting your time, now you're friendless. You see, you thought you were living on the top, but now you're giving all you got. At some point you got to realize that God has more for your life. Down by the waterside, leave all your yesterdays behind. Wipe all your problems away, and choose joy and peace and Christ. Out goes the pain of all the years. In comes the joy of your tears. You're here to receive your life by the waterside. Come on and take me through the water. Take me through the water. Take me through the waters by the waterside. There's a difference in being and living. It's in the water where life is given. It's a place where you'll never thirst again. It's refreshing and there is no end. It's the source that will satisfy your soul. Take broken pieces and make your life whole. Rectify all that has been wrong. Just follow me through this song. Oh, down by the waterside. Leave all your
actually the first song that I ever wrote. I was 14 years old. I used to write poetry, and right when my mother passed, this poem came to me. What calms me is water. So I started writing about the water side and just what could take that pain away that I was dealing with. A little bit while later, I ran into somebody, and he was like, "Do you write songs?" And I'm like, "No, I write poems." And he was like, "That's what songs are."
All right, that was Waterside by our guest host today, Reed. So you can check her out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which I mentioned earlier in the show. Well, welcome back to RTWT. We are in the midst of our October special where we are shining a light on domestic violence. We're going to keep it moving here with our first guest, Ms. Louise Osborne. Before Reed gets into the interview, I'm going to read a short bio for Ms. Osborne. I'll let you know a little bit about who she is. Louise Osborne is a St. Augustine native, now happily married wife and mother of 4 that has dedicated her life to educating on trauma and abuse. She is a licensed mental health counselor, certified trauma specialist, advocate, and motivational speaker, practicing in St. John's, Florida. That's the St. Augustine area for all the folks that don't know. Mm-hmm. She has a blog that enables her to do both, offer practical counseling advice, and discuss her experiences from human trafficking victim at the age of 16, abusive marriage at 19, to the wake-up call she had at 29, which led her to where she is today, happily married, successful wife, mother, and a counselor, all of which would not have been possible without her surrendering her life to the Lord. She holds a master's degree in mental health counseling from Capella University and a biology degree from Cornell University. Wow. Let's welcome Ms. Louise Osborne.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to have you.
Hey, Louise.
Hey, sweetie. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on to share us a little bit about your story. And I mean, I've heard it a little bit, during another event, but it was so powerful. So I'm happy that you're on today to share that with us.
Yes.
Okay.
I will tell you, I am nervous, but I am here.
Don't be nervous. We had a little talk yesterday, and so I learned a little bit more about you yesterday and last night when we chatted, and we're just going to continue on today. So thank you so much for coming on, and I just want to give you the opportunity, to share what it is that you do, to share who you are, because it's such a valuable asset, to those that are in need of services. So the first thing I want to start out with is just you, Louise. I'm just meeting you, and I'm going through, and I've just faced trauma. I've just faced a situation, of abuse, and I feel like, I'm sitting in front of you, and I'm seeking counsel, but I feel like nobody understands me. Nobody can relate to me. I feel like I'm in this thing myself. What do you say to me as you're connecting and introducing yourself to me?
That is exactly where most people come in, and a lot of women come in and they don't even recognize that they're in an abusive situation. They recognize that they're not happy, and they don't know what's wrong. And some people even say, I feel like I should be happy, or I'm married, and they'll even at first they'll say, I think my husband's a nice guy. I think I should be happy. I'm not happy. And it's not until sometimes we dig in further that we figure out what's going on. And I'll ask them a lot of questions, and I just let them talk. And I say, well, tell me about your life. Tell me about your marriage. And sometimes it's these little things that they say that clue me in. They'll say, well, I used to, I think I always go back to one of my very first patients when I first started, as an intern counselor. She came in, and she was this gorgeous woman, And she was just crying. And she said, I used to be happy, and I don't know why I'm not happy anymore. I said, well, tell me about who you used to be, And she's like, well, I used to be a dental hygienist, and I loved it. And she's like, but then I got married, and my husband said that it made me too anxious. And I was like, okay. And see, that was the first thing. She didn't decide it made her too anxious. Her husband told her it made her too anxious. So she gave up the job that she loved. And then it was something a little bit later. She said, my husband told me that I needed to just stay home and be with the kids. And if you choose to stay home with your kids, like I chose to stay home with my children for a while, and that was a wonderful thing. But if you've been told that you have to, it's a little bit different. And it was these things. He was stripping away your control. And I was like, well, tell me about your family. And she hadn't talked to her father in years because her husband told her that her father was a bad influence because he felt like her father drank too much. So she'd lost touch with her father, who he'd loved. And her mother had been dead for years, and I was recognizing these things. And I was recognizing them, honestly, from my own past because I had a similar situation for a while. And I was like, a lot of times we don't recognize that as abuse because we think abuse is, well, he's not hitting me, so I'm not being abused, I'm not being hit. But that's still domestic violence. It's still abuse. You're being controlled. You can't do the things you loved. Your identification as a woman is being stripped away.
Right.
And so, and your control. You have no money.
Right.
You have no contact with the outside world. And that's what was happening to this woman. And when I can't, you can't tell a woman that on the first visit. You can't spit that out. Hey, you're in an abusive relationship. So you basically have to just really be supportive the first visit. Say, well, I can be there for you. I can help you. We're going to work on getting you stronger. We're going to work on finding your joy.
Right.
And you focus a lot on trying to find that joy and trying to give her some peace and trying to find some help and trying to encourage things that you think the husband won't find problems with, like church. A lot of times sometimes they do have problems with a woman trying to go to church, but sometimes they don't. So you try to find things like that, and you really try to start encouraging the second and the third visit because you don't know if you're going to get it, but you try. please come back.
Yeah, you're building that rapport.
You're building that rapport, and you're trying. But you have to be really careful because if you send anything home with that woman, you can make that situation a lot worse. You can't send them home with any pamphlets. You can't send them home with any information. You can't say, hey, can you go check out this website? Because if they do and they get caught, the violence escalates.
Right.
So you build the rapport, and you try to indicate, your story sounds a little bit like mine. I'm recognizing a little bit of you or a little bit of me in you. But you have to be very careful about this because you don't want the woman to think you're projecting, because that's not what's going on here. But you just want them to know, like, hey, I'm not just making things up. I'm seeing this. And this woman, it took a little while, and luckily her husband, didn't forbid her to come back at first. He did eventually, and she snuck back. and luckily as an intern, I was able to see her for free, so it wasn't a big deal. But once he found out, it did escalate quickly, and he did, try to attack her. He did actually try to kill her. He came and tried to kill me, so it was fine. And that's how those situations do, though, is you only have this very limited window where you're going to have access, and you have to try to build rapport quickly and help them quickly, but also very carefully so that you don't make the situation worse and you don't put anyone in danger.
Right.
But you really do have to let them know that you're there.
Yeah. Right. I see that as, building the rapport, and it's definitely, like you say, in advocacy, we've always been told when it comes to the brochures and different things like that, is it safe for you to take it home, or, it's good to plant what you can and at least get things for starters, like you say. And that disclosure, I really believe in, the scripture where it talks about we're overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And it's something about when you share a bit about yourself. Yeah, we're overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And it's something where when you share about yourself, sometimes those walls can come down. Like when I'm was asking you, you know, that question, I can go to that place of seeing, you know, someone come in so, you know, just tense and, you know, facing this hard, cold world. And it's that warmth of when you look someone in their eyes and connect with them. Maybe not 100% because they can't get all your story, but something to say, you know, I see you. You know, I see, like how you said, I see a piece of me in you. That's so good. That's so good. I have another question for you, because even listening to what you're sharing and your work in this field, what is your title and what is your primary focus in the work that you do, please?
Overall, I've got a trauma certificate, and I work a lot with trauma. I primarily work with children that have been through trauma. I work with, you know, anything from 6 years of age to, you know, early 20s are mostly who I work with. And these are kids who have either seen trauma, maybe they saw their parents or they saw their mom get abused. Some of them have been abused themselves. They've been beaten. I have a couple of children who were actually raped. Some just, you know, they were in horrific car accidents and they're trying to recover from that, and they end up with PTSD. But I work a lot with children with trauma because I have this soft spot for them, and they want to get better so badly, and they don't understand why they are like this, you know. And they really, if you don't step in quickly, they spiral so fast, and they start self-harming, they start cutting themselves, they start hurting themselves because they feel so much so intensely, and they don't know what to do with that pain. And as much as it doesn't make sense to a lot of adults, they start hurting themselves worse to try to get rid of the emotional pain they feel, because emotional pain doesn't make sense to them. So they start trying to, you know, make a physical pain. And the way I had this teenage girl this week that tried to explain it to me, and she said, it's like I want the outside world to see the pain I feel inside. So she cuts herself. And she does it over and over. And, I mean, one day she cut herself 37 times. And, it just breaks my heart. So I do work with them, and I really do focus a lot of my time on trying to save these girls. And it's heartbreaking, because it seems like the justice system is really not on their side. And we go to, I do things, I work with them in clinic, and then I also sometimes accompany them to court, not really to do anything other than to sit by their side. You know, one of my favorite things, one of the things I tell them over and over, I'm like, until you're ready to face the light, I will just sit with you in the dark. And sometimes that's all you can do. Sometimes you just have to sit. You sit and you hold their hand and you just sit there, because nobody else does that for them.
Right. That's a huge thing. I remember working with the Lee Conley House in Putnam County as a court advocate, and there were times where maybe the survivor couldn't afford an attorney, and the other side would have an attorney, and and it's intimidating when you're sitting over there by yourself, and they have this whole team beside them, and they're looking like they have it all together. And just to when I would walk in and their face would light up, and just sitting beside them, you see their shoulders, you see them sit upright and their shoulders, and they get this little boost of confidence. You're right, holding the hand. And although you may not be able to say anything, it's the fact that you can sit there and say, listen, I know all this is against you, but I'm on your side. I'm here with you. We're going to fight this thing together. So that is one of the biggest things, support. It's one of the greatest things, just, in the advocacy and in all that you do. So, I mean, that's huge. Now, dealing with when you were talking about the trauma and you're sharing about some of the experiences that you have, even with looking at some of the kids and cutting, self-harm, the hurt that they come in, the pain, the anger, what keeps you going when you get down to the core of it? Because there's so much of you that is pouring into others, and sometimes that pouring is not easy. Sometimes that pouring you might feel where it's rejected and it's not received. Sometimes it is, and I know that there has to be days where you go home and it's draining What fills you back up, Louise?
My own faith fills me up. I make it a point. I complain sometimes about my drive. My drive to my office is long, but then at the same time, I'm so grateful for it on those days where it's been a draining day, because I usually listen to worship music all the way home, or I listen to a sermon all the way home, because I need that, because it is my faith that that fills me back up, especially on those draining days. And I really do, like, I've gone through so much of my own trauma, and there was a long time where I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why I had to go through the things I went through. But now, doing what I do, I understand it. I understand that I went through what I went through so that I could be the person I am to help these people. And on the days that I am drained, I remind myself of that. Like, this is what I'm here to do. And I have this faith that, even on these kids, their worst day, the reason that they are going through it is somehow one day they will be able to help someone else. And I have this faith. I know that God never puts us through pain for no reason. Even though in the midst of our pain it is so hard to see, He's always got a handout. He's always got a reason. He will always help us. We just have to get through it, and we have to see that hand that He's reaching out, and we have to reach back. And it's what my job is to help these kids, and sometimes I have to give them that little push. And sometimes you're right. Sometimes they absolutely reject me, and they're like, "No, I don't want to see it. I don't want to reach my hand back out. I don't want your love. I don't want God's love." Yeah. But I just keep giving it because that's what I'm here for, and I just keep pouring it on them, and eventually they do turn around. And I try to fill myself back up on the way home, and I do. I listen to my music, and sometimes I listen to my sermons instead. If I'm really in a dark place, I'll listen to one of my sermons. I have a little app on my phone, so I can listen to a sermon on the way home. And by the time I get home, I'm usually great again, and I'm in a great place again. And I can go in and I can see my kids, and they have no idea about the day I had, which is the way it's supposed to be. Because I don't want them to be burdened with what I go and do every day. I don't want them to ever have to see that. But I keep filling myself up, and I do. I listen to my sermons and worship music on the way out to my office and all the way home, so that I am full when I get there, and I am full when I get back home. And I try to encourage my kids to download these apps too. And I wear my little tattoos that are like love anyway and in Christ alone, so that the kids ask about them. Yeah. And if the kids ask about them, then I'll throw a tattoo on them too. I'm like, here, you need some Jesus on you right now, and I'll put a tattoo on the kids. Right. I have no shame. Funny. Yeah. So that's funny. That's the only way I know how to keep going, is just to keep burying myself in Christ. Right. Amen. Amen. One scripture that comes to mind, and I look at this a lot of times when, we're in the place of, pouring into people, sowing, when you're trying to help people and you want to see that change. And, each and every one of us on this earth have an assignment, a God-given assignment that, is specifically for us. Now, this scripture is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 6 through 9. And it says, I have planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. So then neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but God that giveth the increase. Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. For we are laborers together with God. Ye are God's husbandry, ye are God's building. And the way that reads to me is that we all have a part to play in this thing called life, and there may be something that you share and you give to someone that I may not be able to. And that's maybe you're the one that planted it, and then maybe I come along a little bit later and I have something to say. That only waters what you've already said. But the way that thing grows is when God takes it, the little pieces that we've played along the way, and God takes that thing and he increases it. So that faith that you have as you're going forward,
keeps you in the place so that you can always be the one to just continue to, whether it's the planting or the watering, because every day we got work to do. We wake up sometimes,
we do.
maybe not the best side of the bed, and that's an opportunity for us to get together because we have some planning and we have some watering to do. So before I say goodbye to my good old friend, Miss Louise, I'd like you to share with the listeners something that's on your heart for anybody, you know, who may be going through or seeking something that is just on your heart. And then also, if someone needs to connect with you in any way, how can they be able to reach you? So if you could at this moment just speak to, there's someone listening to you, and there's a reason why you're on tonight. Please speak to our listeners.
I would say someone, if you see someone, you know, and you're wondering, like you notice a friend that maybe has changed a little bit, you know, and you notice they're not around as much, or they're starting to withdraw, and you're asking yourself, you know, should I reach out? Should I check on them? Is everything okay in that relationship? Check on them, because it is always better to just go ahead and take that step than to leave that friend or that even that family member just out on their own. Because a lot of times people are so afraid of saying the wrong thing, or, you know, they just want to assume, or they just don't want to get involved, you know. But sometimes you need to get involved. And if you have that feeling in your heart that somebody needs you, take that step, reach out. And if you are in that relationship and you're recognizing what we're talking about, and you're recognizing, you know what, maybe I'm not actually getting beaten, but I don't have control over my life anymore. I don't have access to the checkbook. I don't have the access that I used to have. I don't have the freedom. I'm hearing this. You can't hang out with your friends because they're a bad influence. You can't see your family because they're a bad influence. You can't do this job anymore that you love to do. And you're recognizing that. Talk to someone, anyone. You know, reach out to someone. Reach out to a doctor. Reach out to a family member. Reach out to a pastor, and let someone know that you need help, because they will help you. There is a way out. There's always a way out. There's always something. It's a matter of just reaching out to someone. And if you need to reach me, there are several ways. There is my blog. There's a contact through the blog, which is at just LouiseOsborneBeFearless.com. You can find me on Facebook, and that's Louise Tanner Osborne. And you can call the office, and that number is 904-240-0442. So there's a number of ways to reach me.
Thank you so much, Miss Louise. It's been a pleasure chatting with you again. We got to catch up and do some lunch or something, and I still owe you that CD. I didn't forget.
Yes, you do. You owe me the CD, and we will catch up, and we will do lunch. And thank you guys so much for having me on. I do appreciate the opportunity to just get on and talk and have my first radio appearance.
Yay! You did great.
Yay!
You did great.
So one under my belt.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have a great night.
You too. You too. All right, you guys, make sure to connect with Louise. If you are in need of services or anything, if you heard what she said and it resonated, you know how to reach her. Tranell, I'm handing this over to you.
All right, guys, we're going to take a short music break, and we'll be right back after this with our second guest.
The battle may be raging, trouble all around. You're crying out to Jesus for a way out. Hold to your faith, finish the race. He's already made your way of escape. You are triumphant, you are a winner. You're not defeated. You've already won. You're not defeated. You've already won. And it's through Christ Jesus you have the victory.
Mercies have I beheld in thee. Master of wind and violent seas, you beckon me out to waters deep. Fearful, Lord, but I will keep my eyes fixed on you. They're fixed on you. They're fixed on you. You are steadfast through the waves. You are faithful in the pain. You are so much stronger than the grave. You are gracious, though we've all you see with us. Through it all, you are quick to turn your ear when you hear our call. Though I fail to keep your laws, salvage me from the wreck I was. You're calling me out to waters deep. I'm ready, Lord, yeah, I will keep.
All right, welcome back to Real Talk with Tranell, this DV special, a DV awareness special. We are talking to quite a bit of guests today, and our next guest is coming up here shortly, and her name is Antonia Ferguson, so we're excited to get to talk to her and hear a little bit about her testimony. Rue, you can take this one away.
Hey, are we ready for Antonia now?
I'm
Yes,
here.
we are.
Hey,
Hey.
hey, girl.
Hi, how are you?
How you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good. I'm gonna make you comfortable.
Okay.
We're gonna have a good time. I'm so glad to be talking with you. I'm so glad to be connecting. Hey, listeners, I just got to pause for a minute and just first and foremost, just prep you for who you're about to receive. Nia her name is Antonia, but I call her Nia, and she is an amazing person, a strong woman, a mother, an advocate, someone who has overcome great. Still here, you can hear the strength in her voice. You can see it in her walk. You can see it in the way that she raises her children. This is someone who, when we were kids, running around, we both have our little lives and stuff like that, and the things that we went through. But it's beautiful when you can look beyond the years. When years have gone by, and you can see the person that someone has become. And so when I look at Nia, I see a woman. I see the woman that she has become. So I'm just grateful. I remember, what was it, a couple months ago, where you shared the poem. What's the name of your poem?
It's called May I Speak to the Ladies. May I Speak to the Ladies?
May I Speak to the Ladies. I want for you to share that with us, share that with our listeners before you begin, and then we just going to have some real talk, girl. We just going to talk. We're going to have a good time. So if you got that ready, you got that ready for us?
I got it ready right now.
All right, ladies, get your little, sit back, just relax, dim your lights, get ready to snap your fingers and strengthen. Nia, let's go.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Nia, but my poetry name is Lyrical Essence. So instead of hearing Nia right now, you're going to hear Lyrical Essence. And I'm going to recite the poem that I wrote, and it's called May I Speak to the Ladies. May I speak to the ladies for the unjust and selfishness of this world. May I speak to the self-pity of a woman's heart and the everlasting pain that comes with, and tell you, you don't have to hurt anymore. May I speak to the ladies whose face is a punching bag and your thoughts are worthless, for you are far more worthy than what you think. That punching bag will deflate and you will heal. May I speak to the abused minds and the trapped memories of worse unnecessary damaging verbiage by weak misery, for your words will become your testimony. May I speak to that hurt child inside of you that has felt worse pain than your adult self, for it will be okay. May I speak to the ladies who have lost their way home, for home is within the same direction of spiritual connection. May I speak to the hearts of the ladies of broken hearts, for the thumps and the beat will align again. May I speak the language of forgiveness for the ladies of guilt, for you are forgiven if you believe you are. May I speak to the ladies of the night, for your beauty can be easily seen in the daytime if you allow yourself to shine. May I speak to the ladies that have lost hope, for hope is never lost and it is easily found. May I speak to the ladies who have lost faith, that have lost their compass of righteousness, for the faith is truly dead. If you seek, you shall find. May I speak to the mothers that are lost within themselves, for your child needs you to be okay. May I speak to that little lady that will become a lady, for your journey through life will determine your future. Please find the right guidance through the eyes of God. May I please speak to you all, because once this was me, and I can tell you it gets better in time. Thank you for letting me speak my testimony. Now go speak your truth.
Amen. Girl, hold up. Snap. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Lyrical Essence said, may I speak to the ladies? Ladies, was y'all listening? What brought you to even get pen to paper and pour that out? Where did that come from?
That came from 5 years of not realizing how much of an impact it truly had on my life and how much of an impact that it truly had on my children's life. And I had to dig within myself to understand that regardless of whatever it was that I went through it. And I made it out. And I had to accept the fact that, yes, it did happen to me. Yes, I was hit. I was brutalized. My soul was killed. My spirit was diminished. My mind was terrorized. My body was looked upon like a Harlem station of horrible tattoos of anger and anguish. But I had to understand and realize that I have scars, and I'm going to wear my scars proudly. Regardless to how many wounds it was, I have to wear my scars and go out in the world and let everyone know they are scars. I wear them, they don't wear me.
Right. I like that. They don't wear you. So your situation, all of that ain't the thing that just took over you. You're like, you know what? I'm going to take everything that was trying to be tossed at me and everything that thought it could take me out. And guess what? Now I'm going to put this in my bowl and I'm going to shoot it right back out. I love that you're living your life and giving back power, giving back strength, because that couldn't be taken away from you. So,
it took a long time. It took a long time for me to get to this point, even from a child. When I was abused as a child, it took a long time for me to understand or really even know who I was, and to know that God put me upon this earth for a reason and for a purpose, and rather than to be someone else's project. I'm God's project, not anybody else's. I'm not nothing of man. I'm all of God. And I had to understand that God created me, not man.
I like that. One of the things that when it comes and you, and I know we've spoken as well, offline and everything. And one of the things that you shared with me, you said that before, that about, owning yourself basically and not allowing it to be somebody else that, gives that to you, but and knowing that God created you to be. And one of the things that I would share a lot of times with women, ladies, is not even just ladies, survivors, period, because domestic violence is not just females. It's not just adults. It's not just physical. There's so many, it's a huge section of what this is. But the things that I would share with survivors is to, and let me just say, the reason why we say survivor is because that victim means you're defeated. And I want to encourage each and every one of you out here, you are not defeated. You are called to victory. It may not look like it right now, but you are called to victory. You may still be walking that thing out, but you are called to victory. But getting back to it, our survivors, the survivors. So the thing about that is I would always say that you don't go for, you got to know who you are. And it's not just someone coming in and telling you, because if they tell you, for instance, that you're beautiful, you're worth it, you're this, you're that, and you didn't know that on your own and you didn't own that on your own, then when they come and tell you that you're not, they can easily take that thing away from you, right?
Exactly.
Right? But when you know that thing, like how you say, when you wear that thing and you know that thing, then now it's like, I don't care. You can come and tell me I'm great, but I already know that I'm great. So if you come at any other time and tell me that I'm not, you took nothing away from me because I know who I am.
Absolutely.
Mia, who are you? Not after there have been so many people that have come at you and tried to tear you apart and take away from you and pull you down, and they tried to beat it out of you. They tried to talk about you. They've tried to talk down to you. But God called you to be somebody. Who is Nia? Who are you?
Number one, I am a child of God. First and foremost, I am a child of God. Secondly,
Amen.
I am a mother of 3 beautiful children that I am here to mold and to be something phenomenally great, a force to be reckoned with. I am a sister to anybody that needs a sister to lean on. I am a friend to anybody that needs a friend. I give love. I give hope. I give faith. I speak. I have the gift of gab. God gave me this gift to be able to speak to others. My testimony, my testimony. I am a walking testimony. That is who Nia is. Antonia Dolores is a walking testimony of trials and tribulations and being able to get out of them with a smile on her face, with God on her right, and my mother beside me, letting me know that you are strong, and that's something that I've always and already have known my whole life. I'm strong, I'm beautiful, I'm determined, I'm loyal, I knew, and I own who I am, and no one can tell me anything different.
Yeah, girl. Let's park right here for a second and give a shout out to Mama. Please do. I got to give a shout out to Mr. but you give a shout out to your mama, because I know that is a strength behind you. And many times, even with me coming up, and even the messages that I get periodically from time to time, that is a strong woman. Please give her a shout out, and what have you pulled from her?
Thank you to my beautiful mother for always encouraging me to be better than what I was yesterday. I thank her for the strength that she had, because she went through the same thing that I went through, and she pulled out of it, and she was my testimony. Her testimony became my testimony. My grandmother's testimony became hers, and it also became mine. So I thank my mother for going through what she went through so that I could understand why she is so strong, why she is so mighty, why she is so witty, and why she is by far the most beautifully hearted, minded, soulful woman that I've ever met in my existence. Thank you, Mommy, for being you, because only you could mold me to be me.
Yeah, that woman loves you. And my mother passed, as you know, my mama passed when I was 14 years old. And I've had the beautiful opportunity and experience to see what it looks like between the love of mama and daughter with you and your mom. And at times when they're tough, or I see times when she comes to visit and you're like, Mommy, and, it's something about, that mother's love, I know, that can keep you going. So it is such a beautiful thing for me to see. And also to know that, how you say, her testimony, is yours, and you're able to overcome. There is a scripture that comes to mind when I think of you, and when I think of you speaking of your mom. And it's Psalm 139:14. It says, I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. And what I see with that, and connecting with you, Nia, is that regardless of what has come at you, it didn't take away what's inside of you. It didn't take away what Mama poured into you. It didn't take away the greatness of who you are, the beauty of who you are. No one can scratch that off of the surface. They can't do it. And it says, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Regardless of anything that is try to come up against you, it doesn't take away the fact that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. It says, marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. There are some things, Nia, that has kept you so long because of what you know on the inside, even if it means I know that I'm worth more, I know that I'm great, and I know that I am somebody. So, Nia, before we get ready to close out, I want to ask you to share something with that person who is going through, and they're going through silently, and publicly they look like they have it all together. Publicly, People look up to them and they see them in a certain light. But this person is struggling. This person is silently going through. What do you, Mia, as a sister, a mother, a friend, what do you have to say to that individual, man or woman? What do you have to say to them?
The one thing, if I could say just one thing to anybody that's listening right now, before anybody tells you who you are, believe in you. Before anybody can believe in you, you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe that you're strong. You got to believe you're beautiful, man, female, mother, child, uncle, aunt, whomever. Know who you are. Take time out of your life to know you, learn you, understand you, and then present it to the world that this is who you are, like it or not. This is me. Own who you are before anybody can take ownership to you. Let nobody lease your life. You own it. This is your life. Nobody can rent your life. No one can take ownership of your life, and nobody pays taxes on your life. This is your life. You own it. If you don't have anything in this world, you have yourself. You have your mind. You have your body, and you have your soul. Respect who you are, love who you are, and treat yourself better than anybody on this planet even will ever will, including your parents, including your sisters, including your loved ones. You take care of you better than anybody can. Own who you are and love yourself abundantly. And put yourself on a pedestal and let everybody let your light shine and let everyone see your light shine because it's your light and God gave it to you, and let nobody dim your light.
Amen, amen, amen. Go, girl. Thank you so much, Nia, for joining in with us. Tell the listeners how they can connect with you in regards to where they can find your poetry and just, so that it gives me some motivation or just, want to connect. Let us know where to find you.
Okay, you can go to my Facebook page. It's Antonia Dolores, Lyrical Essence, Ferguson. I post poems maybe once a month, depending on my vibe. If you have any poems or any topics that you want me to present, I will definitely do a personal poem for you. You just let me know. You can IM me. You can DM me on Instagram, Nia D, NYEAD. And you guys be blessed, and you guys be inspired, and you guys encourage yourselves to be who you are and spread the word and speak your own truth because it's your truth.
Amen. Thank you, girl. Love you.
You're welcome. Love you too, big cuz.
All right, baby. Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right, you guys just heard from Miss Antonia. Great, great, great woman of God, and the poetry was on point. Great inspiration for the listeners out there. I hope you guys were able to hear that. Yeah,
that was
she was definitely
inspiration. She's feeling it. I was ready to go march. Yes, Mia did that. I'm strong. I'm strong right now. I'm strong.
She gave you some muscles, Reed? She gave you some muscles, Reed? She gave you some muscles?
Yeah, I'm strong. A little bit.
All right.
A little bit. Just a tad.
We got another guest waiting in for us, and we're excited to bring her on. We're going to take a short music break right quick. And before we do that, this is Do It Again by Morgan Monk.
Here I am, here I am, oh Lord. I'm willing to learn, I'm only human, trying to get things right. Not close to perfect, just trying to be in your sight. I'm not at all worthy, just
Though I have not seen, oh, I still believe that my debt was paid up on Calvary. They can bring the fire, they can bring the flood, but my faith will stand strong with Jesus' blood. Oh, your grace is coming up stronger than anyone or anything I see. I will believe in you, God. You believe in me. And I can't explain all the joy you bring through the endless trials. You're my song to sing. You have called me out and you've drawn me in. So let the old be gone and let the new begin. Oh, your grace is coming up stronger than anyone or anything I see. I will believe in you, God. You believe in me. Faithful, all that you promised is everything that anyone would need. Your love, the beat of my heart, you are changing me. Whoa, 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 I have been born again into a life that will never end. Oh, I have been born again into a life that will never end. I have been born again into a life that will never end. I have been born again into a life that will never end. Oh, your grace is coming up stronger than anyone or anything I see. I will believe in you, God. You believe in me. Faithful, all that you promised is everything that anyone would need. Your love, the beat of my heart, you are changing me. Your grace is coming up stronger than anyone or anything I see. I will believe in you, God. You believe in me. Faithful, all that you promised is everything that anyone would need. Your love, the beat of my heart, you are changing me. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
All right, that was Born Again, Philip Hamrick. Such a beautiful song of worship. We've been moving on the show here with Real Talk with Tranell. We're having our DV awareness special, and we got a guest coming up, Miss Lonnie Gordon. And so I'm excited to hear about this testimony. Just a strong young woman that has a powerful testimony to share with you guys. Were you still with us?
Absolutely. I ain't going nowhere.
All right, I'll let you do the honors here.
Awesome. Okay, listen, I'm so excited to bring on Miss Lonnie Gordon. I had the privilege of meeting her, I believe it was last year, and did not realize upon meeting her who she really was. But what I did see when I met her was a huge and amazing woman that I knew that there was more to her, and I just wanted more of her. come to find out, listening to or checking out her bio, this is a woman that for nearly 2 decades has graced the dance charts with such worldwide number one hits as Happen All Over Again, Gonna Catch You, No Regrets, Love Eviction. This is truly a talented artist who has personally set high standards for herself and has more than reached them every single time. She has humble beginnings from the Bronx, New York, and she has never forgotten her roots. Lonnie began singing at the age of 6 and got her break at just 13 years old at the famous Apollo Theater in New York. And so that is such an amazing thing. Lonnie stepped across the pond to the UK in the late 80s. And the audiences, they were wowed by her sheer vocal talent and energy. After releasing some huge dance anthems, Lonnie came to the attention of the legendary producers Spock Aitken and Waterman. This is an amazing woman that is in our midst. She toured over Europe. She had smash hits in Europe. Europe quickly followed, and this is when the United States beckoned Lonnie back. Lonnie signed to SBK Records and had many number one dances. Y'all got to look her up. And up until 2007, Lonnie started as the lead vocalist and narrative for Humanity, Another Side of Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas. I could go on and on and on, but I'm telling you, you got to just Google her. Lonnie Gordon, I'm so excited to be talking with you tonight. Ma'am, how are you?
That's a great intro. I like that. Is that me? Oh, my God. Is that all about me? I like that.
I was doing you well because, listen, I'm talking to a legend right now, and I was hoping I was doing you well. How are you doing tonight?
I think you did me. I think you did me complete justice, and I thank you for that.
Awesome. You deserve it. You deserve it. It is such a treat to have you on Real Talk with Tranell tonight. Like I said, when I first met you, I remember seeing you, and all I saw was just this person that I'm like, oh, my gosh. Like, you changed my life from the first time seeing you, from just sitting and talking with you. It didn't matter where we were. It was the fact that I was in your presence, and I felt honored to be there. I want to just start right there and ask, what is that inside of you? Who is Lonnie Gordon? What is that inside of you that just, it drew me in? Who are you? Who are you?
Who am I? Well,
yes,
I think that when you met me, I had this light burning inside me, and I can only say that it was this godlike. You know, it was something inside of me that gave me a great amount of strength and power, and I can't take. I just can't be the one that say I did it. It was something greater than myself that made me feel involved.
Hey, Ms. Lon. Okay, good. Lost you for a second. You there?
I think we lost some connection. Wait on Miss Lonnie to come back in.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to chat for a little bit because I definitely want to get her back in. So we're going to work behind the scenes to make sure that we get her connected back in. But I just wanted to share with you all, and Tranell, you can let me know when we're good. But I just wanted to share, with you all. Huh?
All righty.
I just wanted to share with you all about Miss Lonnie Gordon. This is a strong woman, and her story is truly going to encourage you all. We good?
Yeah, we got Miss Lonnie.
Are you there?
Yes. Because, see, I can't tell your story like you can. Go ahead.
We got hello, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
We got cut off.
We did. Yes. But the floor is yours. The floor is yours. And you were talking about what God. Go ahead.
All right. So, I think that what shines inside of me that makes me work is something greater than who I am, that makes me stand in front of audiences, that makes me go through domestic violence. It was something greater that held it together. And I'd have to say God. And however, it's God that pulls me through these difficult times. Because when you get into difficult times, it seems like you really pray more. You just do. You pray more. You're like praying more.
Right. Right. I think that is a huge thing, and that definitely had to be, what showed. Now you shared that you just shared briefly that you have gone through domestic violence, because I just went through this amazing bio, and anybody can go. And connect with you. You have a fan page on Facebook. You have so much stuff, and hopefully you'll share that with us in a little bit. So much stuff coming up where people can look at, this big thing in the outside and be like, oh my gosh, it's just, so perfect and all of that. And my question then comes, you said something about domestic violence. So a lot of times when we look at the face of domestic violence, we may see a certain thing. Some people just only see women. Some people see, people who may come off as, a certain way, maybe the way they carry themselves. But you faced it. My thing with that is, what would you like to share about that?
Well, I think that, of course, I got involved in a domestic violence situation. But as I look at domestic violence in its entirety, it doesn't have to be a man or a woman. It can be a gay couple. It can be two people. It doesn't matter. In my situation, I was stalked for probably a year and a half and didn't know it. I didn't know that the person was stalking me. I had no idea. In fact, I met him 33 years ago when I was really young, and I thought we were just rekindling a relationship we had when we were teenagers. But it didn't turn out that way. It turned out to be a very nasty story. And like I said before earlier, that, it's really difficult to talk about domestic violence because, until I got involved with this establishment that taught me a lot about domestic violence, I learned about what the triggers were, what red flags were, and things that I would never look at had I not got involved in the situation that I got involved with. So I look at, I love men, don't get me wrong, I love men, but I look at them differently, like for signs of what I've learned through dealing with advocates and people that were there to support me in this situation I got involved in domestic violence. With the domestic violence, if you don't get help, someone can die. That's just the way it is. Someone can die. It is, for me, it was that I am Lonnie Gordon. I would have never thought that I would have got involved in anything like that. Like my records, like Love Eviction, I'm always kicking a man out. I come across as being this powerhouse. You would never think that I would ever get involved with domestic violence. But, it did happen. I got out quickly. It caused me a lot of grief and a lot of pain. The only great thing about it is I ended up someplace where I got a chance to be around only women and women that were going through things, and they taught me about, all kinds of things that lead down to domestic violence. Had I not been involved with these women, I would have not known as much as I know today.
That's beautiful. Miss Lonnie, one of the things that I carry in advocacy or just as a singer, and when I'm talking to you, I feel like I'm so under you're such. I remember when I met you and I was sharing some of the music that I had, some of the rough drafts and stuff, and we were riding in the car and you're giving me pointers.
I know.
And it's just so amazing because I look up to what you've done and just who you are. But one of the things that I've done with going out and singing and advocacy, for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I'm talking about it. I'm wearing, purple. Had I not got connected with, the Lee Conley House in Putnam County and worked as an advocate, I wouldn't be speaking loud about it. And you talked about that you went through this and you learned something. And I know that your journey is not over. And you have an opportunity now to even share more, like how you talked about red flags, how it started out as stalking. There may be younger people that are coming up or people that are your peers coming up where, they can be like, oh, look at this, this fan, or look, and they're sending me messages where now you can be like, hey, and be able to guide somebody. So that is hard when we have to go through certain things, but it is, the good thing is when we can learn, because your journey is not over. I want to share something with you, Isaiah 26, verse 3, as you continue to move forward. And it says, you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Another version is, thou wilt keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee because he trusts in you. That
I love
you have you have, and I'll send that to you. You have a lot that you're getting ready to move into and go forward, transitioning from, and there's a peace that will keep you because of trusting in him and knowing that all things are going to work out for your good. Miss Lonnie, before we head out, I would like for you to just speak to that person who needs to hear and know something. And if you could share one nugget, please share that with that listener that needs to hear that thing from Miss Lonnie. And then let us know how we can find you and what you have coming up next.
Okay. I think that when you get involved in domestic violence and it starts getting bad, you know when it starts getting bad. You know when the fighting is more. You know when you're afraid. You know when the feeling that you get that you have low self-esteem and you can't pick yourself up. You already know where you are in being involved in domestic violence. When you're getting hit out of whatever, you need to pick up the phone, and if you're in Palaca, call the Connolly House because they can help you. They can help you and guide you. And I'm sure that Serena will give the number after I'm off the air. But you're not alone, and I only came on to speak on live radio was because I do have a story. I didn't share my story in detail, but I am a domestic violence survivor. So I understand what you're going through, and you need to do something about it. You don't have to be in the situation that you are. You don't have to feel like a no one. You don't have to cry every night. You don't have to run around like if you don't have a life, because you do. We all have a life. I have one, and you have one. It doesn't matter the things I've done in my past. It's called the past for a reason. What happened to me is in my future. It only happened 4 years ago. So it's very much in front of me, but I'm so happy that I could stand up and be strong, and you can stand up and be strong. Just do it. Just do it. Take care of yourself. And that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Miss Lonnie. That number to the Lee Conley House is 386-325-3141, and we're going to give the national hotline out for those that are not in this area. Miss Lonnie, I just want to know where you're going next, and how do we connect with you?
Well, I'm in New York at the moment. I'm visiting my mom and dad, and then I'm going to go to Africa, and then I'm going to come back to Florida, Palaca, and visit people like yourself. So I have my month of October. I leave for the end of October to go to Africa, and then I'm back in mid-November, and I should be back in Palaca the end of November. And that's what I'm doing so far. I have my plate is full.
Yes, we'll connect, Miss Lonnie. Miss Lonnie says she's going to Africa. She is failing to tell you she is on tour. So that is good. I should be downplaying that. I'm going to Africa. Like I'm going to Walmart. Like,
well, let me just say, I'm in New York right now. And New York is beautiful.
Listen, connect with her, Lonnie Gordon. This is a legend that you are listening to. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on your show. Thank you for inviting me on your show. And have a great evening.
Yes, ma'am. Love you.
Oh, I love you guys. Bye. Bye.
All right, you just heard from Miss Lonnie Gordon. Y'all need to check her out. Again, I mean, Facebook, I believe, don't she got an Instagram and Twitter as well, Serena?
Everything. She is on Wikipedia. That's what she's ever. This is ridiculous.
So y'all can just look her up. Internationally known singer, songwriter.
Yes.
You guys look her up.
I'm trying to get on that level.
Some bit of her testimony in there as well. She probably has that, some of her music as well. We gonna take a quick music break. We got a powerhouse coming up, Miss Angie Ty, and I can't wait to get started with her. We gotta take a quick music break. Hold up, Serena, don't say nothing yet. we gonna take a music break, and then we're gonna bring Miss Angie on. She is patiently waiting, and I can't wait to get her on here. We're gonna hear Refuge. We'll be right back after this.
God is your refuge. Let me see your hands in the air right now. He is my refuge, refuge, refuge. Ooh. Hands up in the air. If you know that God is there. Let me see your hands in the air right now. If you know that God is there. He is my refuge, refuge, refuge. Yeah. It's been a long weekend. It's been stressful. I just got up my knees. I need some help, Lord. A constant tug of war in my spirit. I'm trying to move on, but can I be real, Lord? Who's this that can take sin away and turn my nights into days? Can he dry my tears away? Well, if you're wondering who this is, it's God, and God is my refuge, and He is my strength. Every breath and nail in times of love. Yeah, He is my refuge, and He is my strength. Every breath and nail in times of love. Can't nobody love you like the Master. Can't nobody make you brand new. He's the one that takes away sorrow. Then He'll make you into something He can use. He takes our sins away. He'll wipe our tears away. But if you're wondering who this is, it's God. And God is my refuge. Yeah, He is my I'm very present in times of love. Ooh, that God is my and He is my very present in times of love. Think of someone that I can depend on. When I think of a very present help, Lord, you are sweeter than honey, than the honeycomb, Lord, yeah. Can't nobody do what you do. No. Because you picked me up and you turned me around and you placed these on natural feet on a solid ground. felt like this before, but now that I found it, I won't let go. You were always waiting at the door. You said knocking you'd open. Well, I'm at that door. My eyes are, they're open. My heart is searching for more of you. I'm yearning, I'm thirsting, I'm longing, I'm chasing after you. I wanna know you, to behold you. You are my God. Come on, let me hear you sing that. I wanna see you. I wanna know you, to behold you. You are my God. Ooh, Jesus, your love is lifting me higher than I've ever been before. Your grace that covers my fault, and I'm gonna tell it to the world. My eyes are, and they're open. My heart is searching for more of you. I'm yearning, I'm thirsting, I'm longing, I'm chasing after you. I wanna know you, to behold you. You are my God. Yeah, come on, sing it. I wanna see you. I wanna know you, to behold you. You are my God. Whoa, 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 yeah, come on, let me hear y'all. I wanna see you. I wanna know you. To behold you are my God. I wanna see you, Lord. Yeah. I wanna know you. To behold you. You are my God. Sing whoa. Every time I think about you, you blow me away. You blow me away. Oh, I wanna see you. I wanna know you. To behold you. You are my God. Sing, I wanna see you. I wanna know you. To behold you. You are my God. Let me hear y'all. I wanna see you. Hey. You are. I wanna see you. You got it. I wanna know you, God. To behold you. You are my God. Only you, Jesus. Only you, Jesus. Only you, Jesus. Only you, Jesus. Hey, only you, Jesus. Oh, hey, oh, you are my God. Hey, only you, Jesus. Only you, Jesus. Only you, Jesus. Hey.
great. That was I Want to See You by Stan Jr. If you guys haven't heard him, please go check him out. That's an awesome man of God. We're going to jump right back into the show. And we're still on our October special if you guys are just joining us. We are shining a light on domestic violence, making people aware about this thing and what's going on. It has been a great show so far. We have heard some powerful testimonies, some very inspiring women behind those testimonies. And I'm about to introduce another woman that lives to empower through domestic violence advocacy. Our last guest of the evening, Miss Angie Pye, and I'm going to bring her on to talk a little bit about her role in the DV fight. I'm going to read her bio first, though. I have to read it because it's so technical, you know, so hold on, let me read it.
And I'm going to jump in. Let me jump in right now while she's looking it up. Hey, Angie. Hey. I'm so glad I got to come see you. Okay, I'm going to let you know handle that the house.
Now, you can tell them a little bit about, we've all got connected. I know you guys, you know, are connected even before I came in, but we all work, you know, in the same center. And Angie actually gave my first opportunity to even work in this field and just believed in me and kind of empowered me and pushed me to, you know, do something totally different, you know. And now my heart is just for DV advocacy, and it's just been amazing since then. So, you know, big ups to her. I know she's doing a lot in the communities that she's working in, even past time, you know. So we're very excited to have her on the show. I know Serena's been waiting on me to press that button so she can talk.
Yeah. I just want to jump in right quick. I saw you at NAS Jax today. That's awesome. But listen, Angie Pye, let me tell y'all about her before her bio gets read. and Tranell gets into the technical stuff. This woman, when I think of Angie, when I look at her, I think of strength. Coming into Lee Conley House, she was this thing that I saw, the brightest person that I saw. When she came into the training room, my eyes were on her. And I learned a lot of how to communicate, how to go into places, and how to be who you are. And be okay with that. Like, there was no wavering when it comes to Angie. When you meet her, she is her. But the beautiful thing that I've also learned is the person. And that's the thing that I treasure the most. Angie is a strong woman, and you'll hear more from her. She is an amazing advocate, a wealth of information. But I'm so grateful to call Angie my friend, to call Angie my sister, and I owe you banana pudding. That's my
yes,
intro.
You do. Yes, you do. We're going to get right into the bio, so we take these last few minutes to just talk to Ms. Pye here. Angie Pye, the Chief Executive Officer of the Domestic Violence Abuse Council up in Daytona Beach, Florida. Ms. Pye has years of experience working in the domestic violence field with particular experience in community coordination in rural areas. Angie began her employment with the Domestic Violence Abuse Council as the CEO in September 2016. Angie worked as the executive director of the Lee Conley House for 4 years after working for 2 at the Florida Coalition Against Domestic Violence as a domestic violence and child advocacy specialist. In her role at the FCADV, Angie served as a coordinator of the Child Protective Investigation Initiative in 7 South Florida counties. In addition, Angie worked with 2 domestic violence organizations, providing technical assistance and training to enhance culturally, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, and I'm Dr. Tip. She has specific services related to farming and working communities that they serve. I'll let you do that, Angie. Much of Angie's experience was gained working with Another Way, Inc. as a program director from 1997 to 2009. As the program director, she worked directly with battered women and children, supervised 2 shelters, outreach offices in 7 rural counties. Good Lord. During this time, she also worked with local child protective services and community-based care agencies to bring survivor-focused services to families. As a trainer, she has provided numerous trainings on state level to provider agencies working with battered women and their children on dynamic communication and community coordination. I got to increase the font. I'm having trouble reading this thing. But welcome to the show, Miss Angie Pye. Thank you so much for joining us, Angie.
Oh, thank you for having me, and it's so good to hear y'all's voices. I wish I could see you, and it was so good to hear Lonnie's voice.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we kind of already. Huh?
I said I miss you guys.
We miss you,
you
more.
girls.
I think we miss you more. All right, we're going to jump in. We only got a few more minutes left on the show, but I really wanted to give you an opportunity to share. Like I said before, I've witnessed your passion, and as you spread awareness of this issue of domestic violence everywhere that you go. I want you to tell the listeners a little bit about how you got involved in this movement, and I guess I could say, where did that passion come from?
You know, it's funny. It kind of snuck up on me. I'll tell you the truth. I had, I identify as a survivor, of course, and then I was working in law enforcement agencies even before there were domestic violence laws, and I would talk to women calling, for help because their husbands had attacked them or harmed them in some way, and I just really fell into it with them of, just responding to their needs. And I even, would make some of the cops that I worked with mad because I would, get on to them for not doing what I thought was the right thing by the women that they were supposed to be out there helping. And so I left law enforcement for an opportunity to volunteer with a rape crisis center, and then ultimately sort of stumbled upon the job with the Florida Coalition Against Domestic Violence back in 97 as a rural organizer, where I went into rural communities and basically started domestic violence services in counties that never had them before, and organized the community to support the service there in that county. And that was really challenging because the rural counties, they weren't talking about domestic violence. They didn't think that domestic violence was a problem back then. And of course I came there and I was the one that was stirring it all up, So, I was telling women they didn't have to listen to their husbands. So it was sort of that kind of early on idea and feel about it. And of course, over the years that's changed, and we see domestic violence as a much more prevalent issue that impacts families and then ultimately, impacts our communities. And, I've always believed that this is an oppressive crime. It's rooted in sexism. It's a hate crime, essentially. And as long as we as a society are faced with dealing with all the isms and the phobias, we're going to continue to see this kind of violence in our society and in our homes. If we can't stop violence in the home, we'll never stop it on the street. So I just, the things that happen to women and their children and sort of the injustice behind it just I think just lit something up in me that was probably already there, maybe even from childhood. I mean, I always joke that I've always been a little bit of a rebel, and so I kind of fell into this, and it was perfect for me in that sense.
Yeah.
But some days I feel so tired, and then I just get, something happens, and you have those successes and you have those sad stories, and you just have to keep fighting the good fight and get us to a world where this doesn't happen. Yeah.
So, I mean, and I hear everything that you're saying. I want you to educate our listeners on the things that they need to look out for, whether it's them in that situation where they're being abused or someone that's close to them, because that's a big thing, that educating the public and informing them on the things that they need to look out for. I know we heard a little bit from the survivors that we had on the show here today, but I want to hear from you because you see a widespread of different stories and situations. Educate us on how you would describe the victims of domestic abuse. What are some of the things that we should be looking for?
Well, whether it's in our families or friends or in our own relationships, some of those early signs tend to not those subtle signs that get kind of missed. And what is really common is early in the relationship, perpetrators of this crime tend to be extremely jealous, and they tend to accelerate the pace of the relationship, meaning that they want to, move in together quickly, they want to get married quickly, they want to have kids quickly, and there's not a lot of time really to get to know each other. And these relationships start out as normal as any non-abusive relationship, but those little indicators early on of wanting to know where you are all the time, questioning your whereabouts, getting upset if you're late, those are things that could very well escalate into more abusive behavior later. And I think we sense it with our friends when our friends and family members start to pull away from us. When they get into a new relationship and we find them pulling away from us and not attending things, not going to participating in extracurricular activities, not going to church anymore, missing work. And I think sometimes people don't know what to do. I mean, when I worked at the police department, I had a friend that rode to work with me, and I could tell something was wrong between her and her husband. And finally, just one day I said, I don't know what's going on, but I want you to know that I'm here for you. And eventually she told me what was happening. And so I think that those are the small things that, and I think we sometimes know instinctively that something's off, but we don't know what to say. And I think the most important thing is to let people know that you care about them and you love them and that you're there for them. And, when they're ready to talk to you, you're there to listen and to support them.
Exactly. So, and what advice would you give those who are listening to this show right now and are hearing what's being shared and relating to it? You talked about it briefly with, just dealing with your friend, but those who don't know how to make that first step to get help, that are contemplating it, what would you say to those that are listening?
To reach out if they are uncomfortable with anything going on in their relationship, because I think women have a tendency to second guess what's happening sometimes. Society has a tendency to make us believe that we overreact to things or that we don't see things as clearly sometimes. And I think that if you're uncomfortable in your relationship, if you sense that something's not right, if there's anything about your relationship that scares you, reach out and talk to somebody, a trusted friend, a loved one, or call a hotline. You can do it anonymously. You can do it confidentially. No, you don't have to tell anything that you don't want to, and they're not going to tell anything without permission. And just talk through it with somebody and do that until you feel confident in the choices that you want to make, and you get some validation for how you feel, because abusers have a tendency to make us feel, they gaslight and make us feel like what we see and what we hear is not really true. So get that objective party, get that people involved and talk to them and tell them what's happening and see if they validate your feelings and your emotions.
Yeah. I wish we had some more time to talk with you, but I really want to give you an opportunity to share with the listeners what resources are available, and I'll give you a second to share as well how they can contact you or the helpline, for them to reach out for certain services or just information. So what resources are available for those who are ready for that change, ready to take that step?
Well, there's certainly online resources such as the Florida Coalition Against Domestic Violence, the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. So no matter where they are, they can find resources close to them. They could also look at the National Network to End Violence Against Women, endingviolence.org. Those sites have a lot of really great information if you just want to learn more or find out more information. I would also say to call the statewide hotline, which is 1-800-500-1119. that will connect you to the closest domestic violence center near you. Or you can call the national hotline, which is 1-800-799-SAFE, SAFE. And, again, speak to somebody confidentially and anonymously and share what's happening to you and how you feel about it, and talk it through with somebody. You don't have to – you're not alone, and you don't have to go through it alone. There's people out there that are willing to support you and care for you and help you be safe.
Yes, yes. And you got that National Domestic Violence Hotline. I'm going to get the link for the website as well. It is www.thehotline.org, and that is the National Domestic Violence Hotline website. So you guys can go on there as well. Again, that number is 1-800-799-7233. Angie, we appreciate you so much for coming on, just sharing briefly with us and encouraging our listeners in this fight, in their role that they can play and to stop and put an end to domestic violence.
Absolutely, and I thank you guys for having me. It's so good to hear from y'all and hear Lonnie, and just makes me feel good to be a part of such wonderful women.
Amen. Well, we're grateful. We're grateful.
Thank you, Angie. I know Louise, the first speaker that came on, we were actually going to come together out to Daytona, but with, I believe it was Irma, the event that you all had, we weren't able to make it. She was really excited to meet you.
Well, we still going to do that. We still have it, y'all.
Okay, we're fine. I'm going to make the space on my calendar because I definitely got to connect with my sisters in Daytona.
Yes.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Angie, do you have any last words, anything you want to share with the listeners before we head out?
Just to please reach out. Just if you're scared about your relationship, if you're uncomfortable in your relationship, just know there's people out there that are there just to help and support you and care for you, and you don't have to go at it alone.
Amen.
Amen.
That is our time. You just heard from Angie Pye and our guest, Miss Louise Osborne, Lonnie Gordon, and Tania, and it's just powerful testimonies. You can catch this show again. It will air on unitygospelradio.com, and that will be on Thursday the 19th. That's next Thursday, and that will be at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So those who weren't able to get on today, they have an opportunity to hear this again. And it's always, we're on demand as well, so we're going to be on demand at Positive Power Radio, and we're also on demand here on Blog Talk Radio, so you can check us out anytime and hear these shows. If you don't want to wait till next Thursday, but I encourage you to wait till next Thursday as well, so you can hear it again, even if you heard it twice. Hear it again. So, all right, I thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I thank you so much, Ree, for being here with me and basically taking this show over. I love you, girl. I'm glad that you were on with me today.
Thank you. It's such a privilege. Am I closing or are we done?
You're closing.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. It was such an amazing encounter. I look forward to seeing you all in November. I'm going to be on a little bit more, but thank you, Tranell. It was such a privilege to be on. Listen, you heard all of us share, and you know what to do. You can reach us. You can reach out. You're not alone. We love you. We got you, but God loves you best. Y'all have a great rest of your evening, day, year, whatever you got going on. Let it be great.
Amen. We'll catch you next week.